And welcome to the Marcus and Mike Show. I am Mike. My man over here to my left is Marcus. Marcus, how you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, Michael. What's going on?
It's another muggy day here in southern Indiana. Hopefully, we get those storms rolling through, get this humidity out of there. My body can't take it no more. I'm getting old, man. I want 75
Oh,
with 0% humidity.
you're getting old. Wow.
But guys, let's just go ahead and jump right into it, Marcus. Last night, Game Three, definitely was a surprise to me how the Raptors came back and responded after uh, that that game two. So the Raptors did win last night, 123 to 109. Steph Curry had a career high game of 47 points, but the team of the Raptors was just too much for the Steph Curry Golden State to overcome. They were missing Klay Thompson. They were missing KD and Looney as well. So first of all, we both thought this was a must-win game for the
Yeah.
Raptors. Does this swing the series back in their favor a little bit?
A little bit. I mean, it's a must-win. But that being said, I mean, this is going to be a long series, especially if Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson come back. This was an absolute must-win for Toronto. Um, Now we'll see what happens in Game Four. Game Four is going to be one of the most interesting games in finals I can remember. Besides maybe 2000 in recent memory, besides maybe the in 2016 Game Six and Game Seven, to see how Golden State would respond versus LeBron when Draymond came back off his suspension. Those were some of the most intriguing games I've seen in a while. This Game Four is going to mirror that soon. Stephen Curry got a taste last night of his own medicine, what LeBron had to go through in 2015 when LeBron's the man. He's got to try to score a bunch of points, and his second best player is Matthew Dellavedova.
Right.
Now Stephen Curry got some of his own medicine there. The Warriors as a whole got some of their own medicine. The Raptors hit 17 threes. I mean, that's pretty darn good in a finals game. The Golden State, closes it to win six, to within 6 points, and the next thing you know, the Raptors hit a bunch of threes, a couple of threes, and next thing you know, they're down 15 again. Well, that's what the Warriors do to people, and it's demoralizing. So the Warriors got a taste of their own medicine. Stephen Curry, what was he? Became the third player in finals history on a losing effort to score 45 points. The other one was Jerry West um, playing Bill Russell and that great team all those years. And the second one was LeBron James scored 51 versus the Golden State Warriors, who were unbeatable. And so now Curry scored 47. Now he's only the third player in finals history to score 45 or more and lose. So he knows what LeBron feels like when LeBron takes a team undermanned and playing Golden State. It's not fun. And Curry can have all the points he wants, but it's not fun. What they did on Curry, they didn't even try to take the ball out of his hands. Really, they didn't blitz him, and they didn't really do anything. They played him straight up. They played him as though he was just a regular NBA player. They played everybody straight up, and Curry went off, and nobody else helped him. And so that was kind of a good plan by Nick Nurse. Everybody thought they were going to do the box and one again and make it life tough on Curry. They didn't at all. They said, "Hey, go ahead and shoot all your shots, one on one, with some screen action there, and let's hope that he used all his bullets in the gun. Maybe Game Four, Curry doesn't have because these things are all going percentages. Maybe Curry doesn't have the great game. He didn't. I thought that was a good job by Nick Nurse not to. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, Nick Nurse kind of played a little bit with fire there because Curry could have went off. They might have won the game, but obviously that didn't happen. But he went ahead and played him just straight up as he was a regular player. I thought that was great by Coach Nurse. And Toronto got a lot of help, a lot of contributions from everybody. They had 5 players score at least 15 points. The last time that happened was 2013. Was Miami Heat versus the Spurs, and Spurs had 5 players score at least 15 points. The Spurs were the most complete team in the NBA for those 2 years, 2013 and 14. But yeah, I mean, it's a great win by the Raptors, but this is really scary now because yes, the Raptors are up 2-1, but you bring back Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant for games 4 and 5, or just think about Game 4 now. That's scary. That's a very scary proposition. So you had to get this victory if you're the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, you are 100% correct on everything that you said there. Their philosophy that the Raptors used last night was kind of the philosophy that we use in high school sports. Is that they might have one great player, let him get his 100 yards on the ground, 300 yards
Right.
passing, but we're going to shut down the rest of the team. And that's exactly what the Raptors did. They let Steph Curry get his 46 points or how much he scored, and
Yeah.
the Raptors played well enough to win this game. And I want to go back to this box score here real quick. If you guys remember the show on Tuesday, I said the recipe for winning this game was Kawhi getting 30 points. He got 30 points. Lowry having a 20-point game. He got 23. And then I said Marc Gasol and Ibaka has to get 20 points as well.
Yeah.
Gasol had 17 and Ibaka had had 6. That is a recipe for winning many games for the Toronto Raptors. You cannot stop the whole team. That is what the Raptors did
Yes.
on Wednesday night. Was they let Steph Curry get his, and then they stopped the rest of the team. And the Golden State just did not have enough for Raptors at all. I mean,
Yeah.
if the Raptors play like this, even with KD and Klay Thompson on the floor, they're going to have a hard time beating them as well. Now you kind of got to pick your poison. Who do you want to let get theirs? Do you want a Steph Curry to get his? You want KD to get his, or do you want Klay Thompson to
Well,
get his? It's kind of pick your poison. And if I were to pick my poison, I would say let Steph Curry get his again.
right.
Do not let KD get any type of groove at all when he comes back for this game 4 on Friday night. You need to get in KD's head early and often. Do not let him get any rhythm going on in this series at all.
Yeah. No. Michael, you're 100% correct. See, now, that's what was genius about what Nick Nurse did. Now, what's going to happen in Game 4, even with Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson coming back, we don't know how effective they'll be. It's a muscle tear. We don't know. They're going to be about 70, 80%. So now what you do is you're not going to play them straight up, I don't think. Now you're going to get the ball out of Curry's hands. You're going to blitz him on the pick and rolls. Now you're going to make life tough for him in Game 4. You're going to switch it up defensively. You're going to do that box and one again. That's exactly what Nick Nurse is going to do. He wanted Stephen Curry to have an easy game, kind of like in Game 3 where he's just doing this and that.
Yep.
And so if he blitzed Curry last night and played great defense on him, then, made life hell for Curry. Curry say only had like 23 points or 24 points.
Mm-hmm.
Curry would feel that. And then the next Game 4, he'd be like, I can't have that bad game. But Curry's feeling good about himself right now. He's hitting shots. He's in rhythm.
Exactly.
And the odds are, the way the numbers work is, I don't know if Curry will do that Game 4. That's just the way the percentages work. People, even great players, a lot of them don't have 2 or 3 great games in a row. So let Curry have his great game, and then Game 4, blitz his ass. Let him feel it, and you play a box and one again. I can almost guarantee that's going to happen again.
Yeah.
And real quick, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and just to add to your point there, when KD and Klay Thompson come back, they are going to feel even more pressure because they saw what Steph Curry, he had 47 points, and they're going to be like, shoot, Steph had 47 and we still lost by 15, 16 points. That means I got to press that much more to get my 20 plus points. So you are going to see Klay Thompson and KD, especially KD, press this game when he comes back in this Game 4. He'll be forcing a lot of shots.
Also, like I've told you in the past, the Warriors play defense in spurts. And last night they played zero defense practically. It was bad. I think they've lost. I think they've only won one quarter, or maybe they've won 2. I think Toronto's won 10
lost
of the 12.
all 4.
Yeah, but I'm talking about for the total series.
Oh,
they've
okay.
only won one quarter. That was the third quarter in Game 2. Otherwise, this thing would be 3-0 right now. And Toronto's playing. I thought Toronto would actually even play better defense than they have in this series, to be honest. I don't think we've seen the full defensive exploits of Toronto either. They've held Golden State. It's funny. It's a funny number. They've held Golden State to 109 points in every single game, and that's good. That's down from Golden State's average 117 points per game in the regular season. So they're holding them 8 points per game under their regular season, 117 to 109. But that's still, there's Golden State still getting 109. But this is good. This is good. This is going to be fun to watch. And Ibaka, we put the APB out on Ibaka and Gasol, just like you mentioned. Gasol came through offensively, and Ibaka was the man last night defensively. I think he had 6 blocks. Toronto had 10 blocks as a whole. I just talked about their defense still allowing 109, not as good as I thought it would be, but they did well on the block shot aspect of it. 10 blocks, and Ibaka had 6. That's the Ibaka that was at Oklahoma City.
Right. And
that's the guy. That's the guy I remember.
Yeah, and just to add to your point, I don't think they played a full defense of game yet. Maybe they're kind of playing their card, like maybe they're holding their cards a little closer to their chest, and then maybe when KD comes back in Game 4 and Game 5, they ramp that defense up 100%, because like I really feel like they could hold this Golden State team to under 100 points, and if they do that, like we threw some stats out about 2 weeks ago, when Golden State is held underneath 100 points, they are only a 30% winning team. So keep them under 100.
That's funny
and you're going to win.
Yeah, that's funny how we're talking about that. Everybody's waiting for this Golden State Warrior explosion offensively.
Yeah.
You and I are waiting for Toronto to hold them under 100 points. That hasn't happened yet. And the day that happens, Toronto will be up 3-1, or they will do that in a game 6 or 7 situation and win the series, and that'll be the 4th game. That'll be a wrap for Toronto winning that game. And what's crazy about Toronto is Kawhi Leonard right now would be the Finals MVP.
Yeah.
He's averaging 29 points and 11 rebounds, right? Pretty damn good. 29 and 11.
Yep.
Or 29 and 10, I think. It's 29 and 10 point something. But, man, Kawhi Leonard has looked sluggish. I mean, I've watched this guy play his whole career, and he used to be more explosive back when his first 3 or 4 years when he was a younger kid, and he's only 27 years old. He should be right almost to hitting his prime at 28, 29, 30 years old. And he is hobbling with something. There's something now. He doesn't have the same explosion he had when he was dunking on the Greek Freak.
Yeah, you're right.
And when he was playing Philadelphia. And so imagine if that guy, I mean, everybody's talking about the Warriors injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if Kawhi Leonard was 100%. I don't think this series would be 3-0. If Kawhi Leonard was 100%, this series would be 3-0. Kawhi Leonard in Game 2 went 1 for 6 in the 4th quarter, which was terrible. And Golden State almost lost that game. The Raptors almost stole that game. They held Golden State to like 5 minutes without scoring until Iguodala hit that shot. Yeah, so I mean, but Kawhi Leonard didn't really come to play offensively that game, especially in that final quarter. So you're seeing a sluggish Kawhi Leonard, and he's averaging 29 points and 10 rebounds, and he's sluggish. That's amazing. So, man, if that guy could ever have if the Raptors ever ramp up their defense and hold them Golden State to 100 or less points, and you ever get a Kawhi Leonard great night where he turned the clock back just a couple of months and had like a 40-something point night, Golden State would be done.
Yeah,
I mean that would be a wrap right there. So we're waiting on that. For that the good version of Kawhi Leonard, the great version of Kawhi Leonard, and we're waiting for Toronto to play actually even better defense.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to your points there, I mean, like we will obviously preview the game tomorrow, just a tad bit. But I've also noticed that he looks like he's gained some weight, like as well. Like I don't know if he's put on some mass or if he's just eating more and like not running as much. But he does look like he's put on some weight. So I wonder like if that has a little bit to do with his cardio.
Well, it's made when you have a leg injury, so you can't run, right?
Right.
So I mean, it's hard to run when people have those leg injuries. So I mean, you'd actually do more sitting around. But I haven't noticed. I mean, he just looks sluggish. He looks like he's sick.
Yeah.
When in this series so far, it looks like he has the flu every game. I'm not joking. Like I've watched this guy's whole career, and you watched it you just watched it in the last series. He's dunking on the Greek Freak and holding the Greek Freak to bad shooting nights. So
something just isn't quite right. Yeah.
Yeah, he has not been that player, that same player. But that being said, he's had 13 30-point games in this playoffs. I think only 5 players in NBA history have had 13.
Man.
So he could break that tie with Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant. I think it's Akeem and Shaq. He could break that tie, and he is going to break that tie because he'll get one more 30-point game in the next 2 or 3 games. So, man, he's just had an amazing run. It's the second best run anybody's ever seen since Olajuwon in 1994 with efficiency rating and all that good stuff. So he's having a hell of a run, and we'll see what happens. But, man, you know what? I mean, if Toronto loses this series, though, they'll go back and kick themselves in Game 2.
Yeah.
When Klay Thompson went out and Kawhi went 1 for 6 in the fourth quarter, and it
that
took
is
an
the game you have to
shot.
win. Like they were down so many horses, and you still lost that game. I mean, like, I thought the series was over after that game, to be 100% honest. So, but
I mean, Toronto should be up 3-0 in the series. That's just and then it took an Iguodala shot. If Iguodala misses that shot, Kawhi Leonard gets the ball back with 4 seconds, call timeout, and Kawhi Leonard could win that game, possibly.
Yeah, they're only down by 2 at that point, I think. So
yeah. So I mean, this is great stuff. I think this is better for the NBA. I think this is what fans want, except for the people that live in San Francisco and Oakland and
right. They're looking for a sweep 100%.
Yeah, this is fun for the rest of the NBA, though. I mean, you got to have some kind of competitive series. Soon as Durant joined the Golden State Warriors, it was a wrap.
You're right.
I mean,
you're right.
You're just watching for fun. 100%. I mean, really. I mean, there's no, I think I think Max Kellerman said earlier today. It would be like Olajuwon joining the Bulls. I mean, that wouldn't be fun to watch. Even the Bulls were so dominant already. I've made it mention that it'd be like 2005 Spurs getting Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
And then you know what I mean? Like, it would be fun for San Antonio to watch, but it wouldn't have been fun for anybody else to watch. It's just kind of stupid. So Kevin Durant, that's why he's leaving. He knows that already. He might come back and try to be the savior, but he's gone after this year. He's battling, teenagers on the internet, about his punk move to the Golden State Warriors. So he knows deep down what he did was wrong.
Right.
It's kind of silly. You know what I mean? And he knows that he's not getting the full credit for these championships. He knows that. That's why he's so sensitive about it, and that's why he'll eventually end up leaving, win or lose this series.
Right. And speaking of being wrong, the overshadowing of this big Game 3 win was the Kyle Lowry versus fan. A fan shoved Kyle Lowry as he jumped into the stands, and basically, I just want to hear your take on it before I just spill the beans, because I'm pretty upset about this situation.
Well, it's kind of the fan is a minority owner. His name is, I think, Mark Stevens or something like that. He's a minority investor, owner, investor, whatever. And Kyle Lowry didn't even fall on him. And then Kyle Lowry, went to the, he went in pretty viciously to the first and second row, and I guess he's trying to get a loose ball or whatever. And then the guy in the blue, the investor, just pushes Kyle Lowry, shoved him. I mean, like, what are you doing, man? Like, if I was my father, of course, my father wouldn't do anything that's stupid, but I'd be like, hey, Dad, what are you doing? I mean, he didn't like push you or anything. I could see you defending yourself. The guy, Mark Stevens, the minority investor, he pushed Kyle Lowry with nothing. No, there was no merit to why he would push the guy. So, I mean, hey, listen, I've never backed down for a fight, man. I'm all for fighting. I wish they'd fight more in the NBA, but a fan too. I mean, if a fan wants to get some, I mean, if whatever, I could care less. But that was pretty much uncalled for. Mark Stevens pushing the Kyle Lowry. I mean, the guy didn't even get hit or hurt, or it wasn't even his wife or anything. Like, nothing. The guy, he just wanted to get on camera and push an NBA player. I mean, it's kind of stupid. I mean, I didn't understand what he's doing. And now that he's going to get banned, he's going to get banned now for the rest of the finals, obviously. And they might even ban him. They might even ban him for next year or something. I'm not sure. The NBA is still looking at all the film or whatever. But, yeah, a pretty dumb move by Mark Stevens. I mean, there was nothing warranted him pushing Kyle Lowry.
Well, you are 100% right on that, but I'm going to be on the flip side of this coin. He had nothing to lose except for getting Kyle Lowry suspended in this series, because if Kyle Lowry would have retaliated at all, I guarantee you he would have been suspended for Game 4, if not Game 5 as well. Because if you remember back the Indiana Pacers and the Artest issue, like when that whole thing happened, I think if you interact like if you have fan interaction, like you hit a fan at all, you are suspended for a minimum of, I think it's five or six games. So that could in theory be the rest of the series if the NBA would have, like if he would have retaliated in any way whatsoever. So maybe
Yeah,
like I didn't know this guy was owner, but like as a general fan, if this is your one NBA Finals game and you shove a player and then he shoves you back and you get that player suspended for like 3 or 4 games, you affected the series by being a fan. So, I mean,
yeah. No, I get what you're saying. The fan just has no business, shoving a player, dude. Like, and then also, I mean, you're gonna get arrested, and I mean,
right.
dude, you're gonna be on your record. I mean, it's kind of just silly to even think about doing something that crazy. Yeah, I mean, and Kyle Lowry did show restraint. I
Yeah.
mean, it depends on who
He
you
was a
shove.
man's man there. Like, you're like,
Yeah,
I would have shoved him back instinctively, like, like instantly. So
yeah.
just
No,
for
I
him
mean,
to like, hey
also as
man,
a fan,
yeah,
you got to know. As a fan, you got to know who you're picking on. He shoves Ibaka, he might get knocked out, and then Ibaka's gone, but you're knocked out, and
yeah,
you're going to jail too. So yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, no, it just depends on it just depends on the player you push there. Kyle Lowry's a good guy. Hey, real quick, I want to say something real quick. I this just came across me last night. I find this absolutely amazing. It's still on the Warriors topic here. The Warriors payroll. Ready for this? This is why we hate them so much.
Hmm.
I hate the Golden State Warriors. Listen, you're gonna hate them even worse after I mention this to you. You ready? If they pay everybody, the Warriors, they come back with the same team
Right.
and give everybody their money, their contracts. Their payroll is $385 million. The payroll, I think, is only 100. It's going to go to 109 or 119.
Yep.
So they're 3.5 times more than the regular NBA teams. How do you compete with that? That's just the dumbest thing. It's just dumb. 385 million. Please, you guys, please disband after this. I
Yeah.
mean, this is ridiculous.
Or let's look at the NBA side of things here, real quick. Don't don't allow teams to go over that salary cap
Right.
or the what's it called? I think it's a luxury tax that they pay, like they have to pay for
Yes.
being X amount of dollars or like whatever. Like a salary cap is a salary cap for a reason. It is
Right.
it is to prevent this from happening. And if
Right.
you are
I
allowing
think they
them
have
to
to.
go 2.5 times over the salary cap,
Yeah.
I mean that
Three and a
is
half.
that is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Like there is, so basically 2 players on Gold State is making as much as the Cleveland Cavaliers whole
Right.
team
And
is.
then
It's stupid.
basically the 385 million payroll, they'd be making as much. That team would be making as much as like the Spurs, the Pelicans, uh, the Lakers, and the Clippers all combined. I mean, that's not a fair product. That's
No,
just ridiculous.
yeah, well, and that would make this Raptors series win that much more sweet.
It
Like,
would.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
like I keep referring to the 2015 Kansas
Yes.
City team, but we were the lowest paying team in baseball, and we beat 2 of the highest paying teams in baseball. It just makes that World Series that much
My,
sweeter.
Michael, that's if you know what, if that's what should make you champion Toronto, because Toronto is the version of the Royals,
Yep,
and right now it's like you're watching the Royals versus the Yankees right now.
you are 100%.
Yeah.
It
So
just
that just freaked me out. $385 million for next year's
that
payroll.
irritates me a lot. That
That
does, like, I already hated them anyways, and now
right.
I wish death, I wish death upon them. Like, I hope they never make it to the playoffs ever again after this year. but
Right.
at the same time, you really can't be mad at them either, because they did build in the draft just like the
They
Atlanta
did.
Hawks, and they just
Right.
happened to get one piece, So, I mean,
Right.
there are 2 sides to the story.
Yeah.
So, do we really hate Golden State, or do we hate the success that they've had with KD with this
Well,
payroll.
you know, I wouldn't hate them as much as if Kevin Durant did the normal thing and
So we hate
stayed with
KD.
Oklahoma. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if Golden State was winning all these championships without Kevin Durant,
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate them. I would still hate them, but I wouldn't like really hate them. Like, you know what I
You
mean?
you would hate their success.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. I despise them now. Like
Yeah.
literally. Like yeah. Like I hate them. I hate looking. Listen, I hate looking at them walking.
Yeah.
And then let me just throw this little stat at you. Ready?
Do it.
Um, because everybody thinks how great they are, but they weren't great until they got Kevin Durant. They had to get Kevin Durant to beat LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they called them the Hampton Five. The Golden State Warriors without Kevin Durant in the finals now versus LeBron and Kawhi's teams are now 8-8.
There we go. 500 team.
So they're only they're a 500 ball club without Kevin Durant in the finals, and they beat a LeBron team with his second best player Matthew Dellavedova, and they're still a 500 ball club in the finals without Kevin Durant.
Huh.
So I don't think they would have won all these championships if they don't sign Durant. I don't think they beat LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin Love and them. So, or I mean, that would have been like a battle royal going down to the wire.
Yeah.
In 2017 and 2018, when they got Kevin Durant, they destroyed Cleveland because it's just not fair. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
so
you're 100% right.
Like I've told people it's like if Dr. J went to the Celtics to beat the Lakers. The Celtics would have had all those championships. I mean, it's just dumb. It's a punk move by Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And we all know it is. And and then let me read it with this. He knows it is. Think about that. He knows that it's a punk move because that's why he fights all these people and starts, Twitter wars with teenagers and Twitter
I will never
wars
forget I think it was like a First Take episode when like Stephen A said, KD, you're like a punk, and then like KD's mom came on.
Oh yeah.
First Take, and like he
God.
basically like his mom basically more or less like said, Stephen A, you need to apologize to my son. Like that was some like elementary type school stuff there. Like that. Yeah, that was crazy.
You really wanted me to throw up, didn't you? Have your mom come up there. Your mom gonna come help you. You're like you're 20 some years old. Your mom's gonna come up there and show up. I mean, really. And then. Yeah, and then Stephen A. Smith, to be honest, he said the right thing. It was a punk move, but he's been apologizing ever since.
Yeah.
He's been calling KD the greatest thing ever and all this, better than Kawhi Leonard, which
it's because of his mama.
Not true efficiency-wise.
Thanks, mommy.
Yeah.
So
Stephen A. Smith has been sucking up to Kevin Durant ever since he made that mistake, and he got a ton lashing from mommy.
So speaking of punks and punks moves and like in general. Earlier, we were talking about that minority fan, and I wanted to say this then, but you said the word minority, and Draymond Green now no longer wants us to use the word owner for owners of teams or owners of restaurants or anything like that. We all know you dislike Draymond Green. I would far say you hate Draymond Green.
I hate Draymond Green.
What are your thoughts on his post game antics there?
Oh yeah, his post game stuff. He's just smiling at the camera and goes, "It's no big deal. We're gonna come back and win Game 4." He goes, "Then we're gonna come back and go up there and win Game 5." Then he goes, "Oh, and then we're gonna come back here in Game 6 and win Game 6, and it's gonna be a party and a parade and all that. We're just gonna have fun. So good times are awaiting." Dude, shut up. I mean, I was just sick. He was just smirking with it and all that. I'm like, man, okay, so you're just calling, and of course, good to have that confidence there.
Yeah.
But you're just calling out the rest of the series. It's fun when you get like 2 all-time players back. Like it's easy for you to say you're an all-star, dude, right, Draymond? You had Stephen Curry and you 2 all-stars. You couldn't beat the 2 all-stars of Toronto, Kyle Lowry and Kawhi Leonard last night. You suck. Shut up.
So basically what you're saying, let me paraphrase Draymond Green's post-game interview here. We need KD to win this series, even though Draymond strongly dislikes KD. So you're saying now, hey, we need you? Like, come on, man, make up your mind. Either we need you or you don't. I mean, there's no ground in the center there. Pick a side, Draymond.
Yeah, dude, the dude is just. I mean, I guess I would probably like him on the Spurs, but I mean, because he's one of those players. He's easily fits this bill. If he's on your team, you like him, but if he's
Yeah.
not on any of your teams, dude, this dude's up.
I feel
And
like he needs a coach that can reel him in, and like a
yeah,
Coach Popovich, or
yeah,
maybe even anybody but Steve Kerr. I can like at this point, like
right.
do not allow him to do his like he was yelling at Steve Kerr like I saw a foul, like he got called for like a foul, he went for a steal, and like it's all ball, it's all ball, and
Yeah,
he just screaming at Steve Kerr, and Popovich, he wouldn't have that. Doc,
well, yeah. I mean,
Doc,
well,
Doc,
yeah.
he wouldn't have that. None of those coaches would have that crap.
And I know exactly what you were talking about. He was going for a steal with a few seconds left in the half or
Yep.
whatever, and Steve Kerr basically told him, hey, fool, it might have been all ball, but you don't do that in that situation. You just
Yep.
gave them 2 free throws. Let's play good defense and let's go to half. So he gave Toronto 2 free throws.
And
Um,
he was
you-
still yelling at Kerr, even though he was trying
yeah,
to
it's
win
just
that. Yeah.
yeah, I can't stand Draymond Green. And then just a little side note here, same person. He wants to take the word owner away from the NBA. He doesn't want NBA people to use it. And I think Steve Ballmer, much to his discredit, has gone ahead and he's acquiesced to Draymond Green. So the Clippers organization now is not using the word owner. That might be the dumbest thing that I've heard of in a long time. It's the most. Why would you take the word owner? That's what you are. Why would you take the word owner out of
Exactly.
your vocabulary? I mean, you own the team, right?
You're right.
So, Mike, if you and I bought a team, or we bought a local franchise of hamburger place, Whataburger, we're the owners, right?
We are.
Like, what
We
is owner? What is the word owner? I think I'm sure he's saying like it's a racist term, like from the slavery days, dude. Owning an NBA team has absolutely nothing to do with slavery, dude.
You're right.
It's the most ridiculous thing. So when Draymond, so so when Draymond gets enough money and then he, say he invests with Kevin Durant and LeBron James, and in 20 years from now they buy.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't stand Draymond Green for a whole list of reasons.
Yeah. I mean that like the slavery term has been brought up in NBA culture several times. I can't remember, was it like 6 months ago, maybe a year ago. I want to say it was LeBron James brought up the word slavery, like we are a slave to the owners type of thing. I could be totally off of like who it is, but I do remember hearing that term. So I mean, like I could go in on this, like the past is the past, leave it there. But at the same time, like I understand, like you got to respect the history and stuff like that. But if you don't want to use the word owner, what word do you want to use? Like, if
I guess they would say chairman. I
okay,
mean, I'm not sure. I mean, but
but
you're
I'm
the
not the
owner,
chairman
so I
of
mean,
this company. I own this. Like, this is my
I own
building.
the company.
This is my
Right,
land. This is my product on the floor. Like, I'm not the
right.
chairman of it. I'm the owner of it. You know?
Yeah, and I don't. There's no. I don't understand where race comes in, dude. There's enough racism in America,
Yeah.
Michael, to
And
not fabricate,
it's blowing up
not
even.
to
Yeah.
fabricate racism. I mean, you're fabricating stuff here. You're fabricating racism. You do a disservice to people that were slaves,
Yeah.
to Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth and Nat Turner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, really that I mean, those were actual slaves.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, you're a millionaire walking, and one day you might be a billionaire if you invest your money right, and you can buy what. A lot of these players own restaurants. You know
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
So they are the owners of the restaurant. Draymond Green probably owns a restaurant, and guess what, Draymond? If me and Michael walked into your restaurant, we'd say, "How you doing? Hey, Draymond, you own this place. You're the owner. Awesome."
Nope. He's the chairman.
No, oh, that's right. Yeah, the chairman. Yeah, it's
So
dumb.
let's go ahead and 100% shift gears here. Football season is getting closer. We're in OTAs. all that good stuff. And trade rumors, free agent signings, and stuff are starting to circulate a little bit. The Dallas Cowboys are close, near and dear to my heart, as well as Marcus is over there. And I heard a rumor this morning that the Cowboys are looking into signing Eric Berry, and they're looking to trade or move Heath. Do you think this will be a positive move for the Cowboys? And should they make this move?
Great question. See, I don't know how much Eric Berry has in the tank. I mean, listen, God bless him.
Well,
He went through.
he is only 28 years old, maybe 27.
Well, but that
Yeah.
age doesn't have anything to do with it, Michael.
Right.
Like in other words, like when you go through what he went through, the chemotherapy, the cancer, and all that, I don't know how much he has left in the tank in terms of his ability to play football. Like
Right.
in other words, you get, he could get tired faster. I mean, he doesn't have the same ability. I don't know, what to say about that situation. I'd have to ask the doctors before I'm the Cowboys and say, why did Kansas City release him? He couldn't maintain that top level, or maybe he can only do it
released
in
him
spurts.
because he like yeah, I mean like he hasn't been healthy since he's been back.
Right.
I
Well,
want to say he beat the cancer 3 years ago, and then the following
right.
year he tore his Achilles, and then last season he was just I think he played a total of 4 games. So yeah.
Right. So does he only play like in spurts, or is he only out there in
Hmm.
certain situations?
Right.
Are we gonna we have to monitor like in basketball? Like if this was basketball, Eric Berry would only get 20 minutes
Yeah.
a night. Is he good enough to give his full all? He just comes in on nickel situations. I'm not sure how. And then Jeff Heath has been he's been one of the weakest links to the Cowboys since he's arrived. Now, don't get me wrong. Now he has been a player that has improved every year. It
Yes.
looks like,
Yes.
and he's a hard-hitting player. I like Heath. I remember when he was real young, like rookie or something, Adrian Peterson meeting him at the 2-yard line, and Adrian Peterson just ran over Jeff Heath like if he wasn't even there.
Right.
Heath has improved. I used to think Jeff Heath he had dirty pictures on Jerry Jones because he kept making the team, so he must have something on Jerry. But to Heath's credit, he's improved. He's gotten better, and although he didn't have a great divisional round versus the Rams in last year's playoffs, I think he got beat a couple of times by Goff. He didn't come up and make the play, Jared Goff. Listen, is a 70% Eric Berry better than 100% Jeff Heath? I don't know. That's a great question. I'd have to talk to doctors about Eric Berry before I'd release Jeff Heath. And also, they're trying to listen. They're trying to they're trying to decrease Jeff Heath's minutes anyways. They signed George Alaka from the Vikings this offseason. And George Alaka is a big dude. He's a good safety. He's not a great safety. He's a good safety. He gets more interceptions than Byron Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So Alaka, what is he? He's like 6'4", 225. I probably have watched him a bunch of times because I don't think he started for the Cincinnati Bengals like every year.
Yeah.
Like he didn't miss a start. George Alaka started every game for the Cincinnati Bengals since he got there. I mean, he's been, and I don't know why he left the Bengals. He left in free agency. I don't know why the Bengals would let him go. He left in free agency to Minnesota, and then he really didn't do anything for Minnesota. It wasn't a good fit there. So now the Cowboys have George now. He's still, 30 years old or whatever. I think he's the replacement for Heath. He's not great. He's good. He's an upgrade over Jeff Heath. So maybe if they want to, trade Jeff Heath for like a 6th or 7th round pick, they would have already done it. Then you have Eric Berry and George Alaka playing safety along with Xavier Rhodes, who I think is a good football player. I watched Xavier Rhodes from Louisiana Tech, who's a Cowboys draft pick, like in the 4th or 5th round. So he's a good free safety. But yeah, I mean, you always got to try to improve your team. If you think that Eric Berry is 70% of Eric Berry is better than 100% of Jeff Heath, and you can get rid of Jeff Heath for a 6th or 7th round pick, do it. Because what gives you that flexibility is signings George Aloka in the offseason from Minnesota, and was a starter with the Bengals for like 5 years. Didn't miss a start. I swear. George Alaka, every time I watched the Bengals, he started and he played well. He wasn't a weak link. I don't remember him being a weak link. Now, there may be a Cincinnati Bengal fan say, "Oh, he missed this play, he missed that play." Well, I didn't see it when I watched the Bengals. So we'll see what happens. But it's up to the doctors for me on Eric Berry to see his stamina. I'm sure he doesn't have cancer anymore, but can he give that 100%?
Yeah.
Can he be at 100%? How many plays? How many snaps can he play? I wouldn't just get rid of Jeff Heath just for fun, and then all of a sudden you get just for a 6 or 7 round pick, and all of a sudden you get Eric Berry, and then week 7, Eric Berry wants to retire.
Right.
So the doctors would be heavily involved in my decision if I was the Cowboys.
Yeah, you are 100% right. Eric Berry is my favorite player currently in the NFL because he was such a staple at Kansas City for such a long time. He was a heart and
Yes.
soul. He definitely has the heart of a warrior, but he is just not producing anymore. I
Right.
mean, I think in the championship game versus the Patriots, I only saw him on the plate, like on the field for maybe 8 or 9 plays. He just wasn't in there that much. And if the Cowboys are going to cut a player or release him or trade a player for Eric
Yeah.
Berry, I don't think you do that to like Heath because he has been a staple in the Cowboys secondary for a while. And just like you said, he is improving each and every year. And
Yeah. He
and
is.
and I want to say Heath is better than a 60 or 70% Eric Berry, and
Right.
that hurts me to say that because Eric Berry used to be such a great player. He was amazing. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that'll be a
Eric
bad
Berry.
move.
Eric Berry may have played his last game in the NFL. I mean,
Yeah,
it depends on what the doctors say. And man, I feel bad for Eric. I mean, he's made a lot of money in his career. Don't get it wrong. He'll always have health benefits. I don't feel bad for him. But yeah, I mean, he may have played his last game, but he had a chance to be one of the greatest safeties of all time. But just that cancer came up and bit him, and that's horrible. But I'm so glad he beat it, and he's
yeah.
fine now. But yeah,
They
like I
caught
said,
it early, so that's a great thing.
he had a chance to be a Hall of Fame type thing. Hell, he might even still get in in a few years when he gets older, as a one of the old timers and getting a Hall of Fame. That's a possibility. Because they have like the Hall of Fame. They induct the new players that have been 4 or 5 years removed.
Yeah,
First ballot, second ballot, third ballot, and then every year they induct like an old timer.
right,
And so Eric Berry might be on that list in about 20 years and
right.
be an old timer getting inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and if this is his last, game or like if he's played his last game ever, I hope the Chiefs sign him to a 1 day contract like they did with Jordy and Jamal Charles and like all those players you
Yeah.
saw those 1 day contracts. I hope they sign him to a 1 day
Oh,
contract so he can retire, as a Kansas City
oh man,
Chief, like on the field.
Eric Berry's an all timer. He should have his name, like on the Kansas City little Ring of Honor, or however y'all call that.
Yep.
He should have a Eric Berry Day. They'll probably honor him at halftime coming up. Yeah, it'll have Eric Berry bobblehead night every year. They'll have an Eric Berry bobblehead day game. So yeah, absolutely, he's an all timer for the Chiefs. Yeah, Eric Berry should always. He should never be able to. He should never buy a drink, or his apartment should probably be free for the rest of his time in Kansas City. No, I'm not. Yeah, Lamar Hunt and the owners of the Chiefs and all of that should
Hmm.
set him up for life. Really, he gave his body literally to the game of football.
And that he did. And no disrespect to Heath or Eric Berry, but Eric Berry, I just don't see you taking his
Right.
spot on the Dallas Cowboys, unfortunately. But guys, that'll be it for today. Join us tomorrow, same time, same place. But before I head out, Marcus, any closing thoughts?
Just real quick, Craig Kimball signed with the Chicago Cubs, 3 years, $43 million. The Cubs have had 12 blown saves this year, so Craig Kimball is one of the all timers. He's got a shot to be up there with Mariano Rivera and the greats, and that's a great move by the Chicago Cubs to sign Craig Kimball. That should do wonders for their bullpen. Everybody should be a sigh of relief if you're a Chicago Cubs fan. Now we'll just see where Dallas Keuchel goes. I think it's rumored to be he's going to join the Yankees. Yankees don't allow any beards, so that was just weird to me. You're telling a grown man he can't have a beard, and Dallas Keuchel has one of those James Harden beards. So we'll see if the Yankees sign Dallas Keuchel. That would be big for the Yankees. I hate the Yankees. The rich would get richer, but we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Craig Kimbrell signed with the Cubs, which is pretty darn good.
Yeah, the Yankees have a haircut and beard policy. If you remember a while back, old Johnny Damon started out with the Kansas
Yeah,
City team, then transferred to the Sox, and then went to the
right.
Yankees, and he had to cut off his hair. So For of you
It's
guys that don't know,
ridiculous.
back in the day, probably 2009 and prior, the Kansas City Royals were a minor league feeder team to the New York Yankees. Anybody that we had good went
Oh
there.
wow.
So just a little insights there. But guys, join us
Okay,
tomorrow.
cool.
Same time, same place. Have a good day.